Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving deep into World War II, a conflict so massive it's almost impossible to grasp. 50 facts, some you may know, some may be new, but I guarantee you every single one holds a piece of this sprawling, terrifying, heroic story. Stick around to understand the world we live in today. September 1st, 1939. It's not just the start of a war, it's the day the world as they knew it shattered. Germany invades Poland and the clock starts ticking on a global conflict. September 2nd, 1945, after 6 years of unimaginable bloodshed, the guns finally fall silent as Japan formally surrenders aboard the USS Missouri. Operation Barbarossa, Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union, was a tidal wave of men and machines, the likes of which the world had never seen. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor, a date seared into the American consciousness. A surprise attack that dragged the sleeping giant into the war, forever changing the course of the conflict. June 6, 1944. D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion in history, the beaches of Normandy, transformed into a crucible of fire and blood. A turning point, a foothold in the fight for freedom. Stalingrad, a name synonymous with urban warfare, with sacrifice, with unimaginable brutality. Nearly 2 million casualties, a city reduced to rubble, a testament to the sheer ferocity of this war. August 1945, the world watches in awe and terror as a new age dawns. Atomic bombs fall on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, unleashing a power never before seen, forever altering the course of human history. Over 70 million souls extinguished, the deadliest conflict in human history. World War II wasn't just battles and campaigns, it was an ocean of suffering that touched every corner of the globe. The Holocaust, the systematic extermination of 6 million Jews by the Nazi regime, an act of barbarity so horrific it defies comprehension. We must not ever forget. Blitzkrieg, Germany's lightning war, a symphony of tanks and air power designed to overwhelm and obliterate the enemy. Imagine a steel fist smashing through your defenses. The air crackles with tension, the sea churns below, the Battle of the Coral Sea. A clash of carriers, a duel of aircraft, the first major naval battle fought entirely without the ships ever seeing each other. Shrouded in secrecy, a race against time was underway. The Manhattan Project, the goal? To create the most destructive weapon the world had ever seen. The stakes? The fate of the world itself. In the stifling confines of a hidden annex, a young girl picks up her pen. Anne Frank's diary. A poignant, heartbreaking testament to the human spirit, even in the face of unimaginable horror. The fate of nations hinged on breaking an unbreakable code, the Enigma machine, a puzzle of rotors and wires, a challenge that pushed the limits of human ingenuity. The Allies' success changed the course of the war. Imagine a city slowly starving. Leningrad, 872 days under siege, 1 million civilians dead, victims not of bullets and bombs, but of hunger and disease, a testament to human resilience in the face of unimaginable hardship. They weren't on the front lines, but their contributions were no less vital. Women, nurses, factory workers, code breakers, they played a crucial role in the Allied victory. The Japanese zero. In the early days of the Pacific War, it was a terror of the skies, outmaneuvering and outgunning its Allied counterparts. The B-17 Flying Fortress. A symbol of American industrial might, it rained down destruction on the enemy, paving the way for Allied victory. Adolf Hitler, the architect of this global conflict, survived over 40 assassination attempts. Each attempt, a story in itself, a desperate gamble to change the course of history. The Maginot Line, France's last line of defense. But against the speed and ingenuity of the German blitzkrieg, it proved to be a costly and ineffective Maginot Line. The vastness of the Pacific Ocean, the Battle of Midway, a decisive victory for the Allies, a turning point in the Pacific theater that shifted the momentum of the war. Words as weapons, images as ammunition. The Nazi regime mastered the art of propaganda, twisting truth, fueling hatred, and ultimately manipulating an entire nation. For 63 days they fought with incredible courage against overwhelming odds. The Warsaw Uprising, a testament to the unyielding spirit of resistance even in the face of certain defeat. Beneath the waves, a silent menace. German U-boats, stalking Allied shipping lanes, sinking vital supplies. The Battle of the Atlantic, a desperate struggle for control of the lifeline across the ocean. They faced prejudice at home and enemies abroad. The Tuskegee Airmen, the first African-American pilots in the US military, they shattered racial barriers and proved their mettle in the skies over Europe. No nation sacrificed more and endured more. The Soviet Union, over 20 million dead. The Eastern Front, a meat grinder of unimaginable brutality, forever etched in the nation's psyche. The skies above England ablaze with fire and fury. The Battle of Britain. The RAF, outnumbered but not outmatched, stood defiant against the might of the Luftwaffe, saving their nation from invasion. A voice of defiance in a world consumed by darkness. Winston Churchill. His words rallied a nation, his spirit emboldened the free world, and his leadership helped turn the tide against Nazi tyranny. Fear and prejudice cast a dark shadow. Japanese internment camps. Over 120,000 Japanese Americans stripped of their rights, imprisoned without charge. A shameful chapter in American history. From the beaches of Sicily to the mountains of Monte Cassino, the Italian campaign was a brutal slog. A fight for every inch of ground, culminating in the liberation of Rome and the fall of Mussolini. A new kind of terror, the German V-2 rocket, the world's first long-range ballistic missile, raining down death from the skies, a terrifying glimpse into the future of warfare, a harbinger of the future. Imagine a beach transformed into a sea of humanity. Dunkirk, over 300,000 Allied troops trapped by the advancing Germans, rescued in a desperate evacuation. A testament to courage, improvisation, and the human spirit, a miracle on the beach. From the ashes of war, a new hope, the United Nations, a global organization dedicated to preventing future conflicts, to fostering cooperation, to building a better world. A hope for peace. The earth trembles. The air is thick with smoke and the stench of diesel. Kursk, the largest tank battle in history, a clash of titans that broke the back of the German army in the east. The Bataan Death March, a forced march of Allied prisoners of war by Japanese forces. Thousands died from starvation, disease, and brutality. The Navajo code, talkers, using their native tongue, they created an unbreakable code transmitting vital messages and helping to secure Allied victory. 1943. The tide begins to turn. Italy, its forces depleted, its people weary of war, ousts Mussolini and switches sides, joining the Allies in the fight against their former Axis partners. A nation divided. Winter grips the Ardennes forest, the Battle of the Bulge. Germany's last major offensive, a desperate attempt to stave off defeat. A battle fought in brutal conditions, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Axis versus Allies. On one side, the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, Japan. On the other, the Allies, the United States, Great Britain, the Soviet Union. The fate of the world hung in the balance. These titanic forces clashed. The whine of jet engines, a sound that heralded a new era of warfare. The German Me-262, the world's first operational jet fighter, a technological marvel that arrived too late to change the course of the war. The Geneva Conventions, designed to protect prisoners of war and civilians, were often violated during the conflict. A stark reminder of the fragility of civilization. A letter penned by a genius, a warning that changed the course of history. Albert Einstein's letter to President Roosevelt, urging the development of the atomic bomb, a decision with far-reaching consequences. Faced with the Nazi advance, the Soviet Union undertook a monumental effort, relocating factories and workers to the east, keeping the war machine running. Over 16 million Americans served in the armed forces during World War II, transforming the United States into a global military power. The Big Three meeting in Yalta, Roosevelt, Churchill, Stalin, dividing up post-war Germany, shaping the future of Europe. The Lend-Lease program, providing billions of dollars in aid, food and munitions to Allied nations, was a crucial factor in their eventual victory. America's arsenal of democracy. A one-way mission, Japanese kamikaze pilots deliberately crashing their planes into Allied ships. A desperate tactic born of dwindling resources and unwavering fanaticism. April 30th, 1945. In a Berlin bunker, Adolf Hitler, the man who had plunged the world into darkness, takes his own life. The end of the 1,000-year Reich, a nightmare finally over. January 27th, 1945. Soviet troops liberate Auschwitz, exposing the full horror of the Holocaust to the world. A day of liberation, a day of mourning. World War II ends, but a new conflict is brewing, the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union, once allies, now locked in an ideological struggle that will define the latter half of the 20th century. The echoes of war, so there you have it. 50 glimpses into the vast, complex tapestry of World War II, but these are just fragments. Each battle, each individual story holds a universe of its own. We have a duty to remember, to learn, to ensure that such horrors are never repeated. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating history content. Let us know in the comments which fact surprised you the most.